Okay, so we're setting up for the anoles classroom habitat for MSLNG1. So we're going to start with the peat. So you put the peat at the bottom of the aquarium. And you just kind of spread it around. And then you want to wet it. So take your spray bottle and spray it around and get it nice and moist. Okay, next steps. We can put in the wood substrate. Before you spread the moss mat out, you want to go ahead and spray the bottoms of them so that they're moist underneath. So on the underside, it kind of looks like it's got bark. This is nice. And for your ferns, you can take your spoon. Excuse me. Take your spoon, dig a nice little hole. Again, make sure that it's wet enough. So this is how they come shipped. So they're fairly dry. They're very dry. So moisture is a big deal in this terrarium habitat that we're creating, so make sure you're aware of that. I'm really making sure that there is enough moisture on here for the fern. Okay. Making sure it's in deep enough too. Last thing it calls for is a little bit of grass seed, so you can go ahead and sprinkle a little bit of grass seed in from your kit, and then after you do that, you add water. So of course, when you're doing this, you might be asking your students, how they want it designed and what they want to wear, and asking them the questions of, what the animals might need before you put all of this habitat together. So what we're demonstrating here is just how the directions are set up in the teacher guide. So then you water it. It's raining. So these are not in your kit, but I want to talk a little bit about putting sticks and rocks in your terrarium. So the anoles like to bask, so you want to have a rock called a basking rock, just a rock with a nice surface that they can kind of lay on. So we'll put that in here. And you might find a nice size stick and place that in your terrarium as well, as anoles like to climb on the stick and hang out. Okay, so first we're going to put our friends, the Bess beetles, in. So they're real friendly guys. You can just grab them, okay, put them in, and they like to be under the bark. Okay, so they're going to help us. All right. And then secondly, you're going to get the giant millipedes. And they're also easy to handle. You can place them in. Where do you want to go, buddy? I'll put you right there for now. Okay. And now we're ready for the anoles. Okay, so the last is the anoles. So we're going to put the anoles in and then put the screen over. Are you ready? Okay. It's coming out. 1, 2. There you go. This is called a cricket keeper. And what's really cool is when you first get the crickets, they come in this container in your organism kit. And it's kind of hard to just pour them out. So you want to figure out a way where you can get them from that container into here. One suggestion might be to actually put that container, because inside that container, the crickets come in a paper. They're like balled up in a paper. Let me show you. So when we first got these crickets, they were actually inside this paper. They were hanging out in here. And I was thinking, how am I going to get that paper into that little spot? So you have two options. You could just put that whole ball of paper into that spot, open it up, put it in the spot, and wait until the crickets get in there. What I ended up doing was shaking as many as I could out into there. A suggestion was to put it in a big plastic bag. Shake them all into a big plastic bag and then shake them from the plastic bag into here. So if you're finding that it's really hard to transfer them, you might want to start by putting it in a plastic bag. Okay, so then once we got them in the cricket keeper, before we actually put them in the keeper, we put food in. So there's cricket meal that comes with your kit, and it's got a lot of calcium loaded into it so that you are feeding the crickets the nutrients that the anoles need. Also, they need water, but you can't just put a bowl of water there because it'll drown the crickets. So what you do is there's a sponge in the kit. You want to cut a little square, and then you want to go ahead and get it wet. You could maybe dampen the sponge using the pipette, right? So that's something that I think I'm going to try right now. So I could actually, from here, kind of spray a little water on top of that sponge and let the sponge absorb that water without, so that would be a convenient way to periodically keep that sponge damp. So you want to make sure it's damp so they have a source of water. And then the other idea is that the crickets are going to go into these little tunnels. And what you'll do is you'll just open up your, when you go to feed your anoles. Anoles need like 2 or 3 of those little crickets every couple of days. So what you'll do is you'll just tap, you'll pull this out, open up your terrarium, and just tap a couple of crickets into your terrarium for the anoles every couple of days. So one other thing that comes with your kit are mealworms. So there's 200 mini mealworms in here. So your anoles like to eat mealworms, You can also give them a mealworm every so often, every couple of days. And you keep these in the refrigerator when you're not, when, if you're holding them for a little while, weeks, a month, whatever, because otherwise they'll turn into beetles and you don't want that. So that's the tip there. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do this.